Cyrodiil, the beating heart of Tamriel, a land of ancient ruins, forgotten gods, secret cults, and portals to realms best left unopened. The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion isn't just one of the most beloved RPGs of all time. It's a world layered with hidden histories, obscure legends, and mysteries that even the champion of Cyrodiil might have missed. Today, we're going to uncover 60 little-known facts about Oblivion. Lost relics, ancient empires, cut quests, and the strange, wonderful, sometimes hilarious secrets left scattered across Cyrodiil. And with the recent remaster, there's never been a better time to learn about the wonderful realm of Oblivion. So whether you're a returning hero, ready to walk the White Gold Tower's shadow once more, or a newcomer eager to learn the truth behind the Mythic Dawn, settle in, relax, and let's walk the hidden roads of Oblivion together. Fact number 1. The Imperial Dragon symbol is not just a decoration. When you explore the Imperial City, you'll notice dragon motifs carved into nearly every wall, gate, and piece of armor. That dragon represents Akatosh, the chief deity of the 9 divines. And more than that, it symbolizes the binding of Nirn to linear time itself. Akatosh's pact with Saint Alessia stabilized the chaotic energies of early Tamriel, allowing mortal civilizations to thrive. The Empire's survival depends not just on politics, but on the cosmic order Akatosh maintains. Fact number 2. The Mythic Dawn believed they were liberators, not villains. To the player, the Mythic Dawn are murderous cultists serving Meriner's Dagon. But within their own doctrine, they viewed themselves as freedom fighters. They believed Nirn was an unnatural prison, built by jealous gods to trap mortals. Their goal was to return Tamriel to a pure, chaotic state, believing that Dagon's destruction would free humanity from the burden of suffering and time itself. In a twisted way, they didn't see themselves as destroyers, but as saviors. Fact number 3. The Amulet of Kings is tied directly to the creation of Mundus. The Amulet of Kings isn't just a royal artifact. It's a fragment of creation itself. Its connection to Akatosh anchors the mortal plane, keeping Daedric forces like Meriner's Dagon from invading Nirn freely. When the last heir dies in Oblivion's opening scenes, it's not just a political crisis, it's a cosmic one. The death of the Septim bloodline weakens the barrier between worlds, allowing the Oblivion gates to open. Fact number 4. Oblivion's AI could originally start wars without player input. During early builds, the revolutionary Radiant AI system allowed NPC to form alliances, betray each other, and even start wars completely without player involvement. Developers scaled this back after it led to bizarre bugs, like towns descending into chaos, vendors killing each other over bread, and quest-critical characters dying at random. Fact number 5. The Shrine of Sheogorath foreshadowed the Shivering Isles. In vanilla Oblivion, you can visit the Shrine of Sheogorath, where the Daedric Prince of Madness sends you on the infamous accidental murder quest. What most players missed was that Sheogorath hints at his growing instability, setting the stage for the later Shivering Isles expansion, where the Mad God's mind and realm are fracturing in preparation for Jiggalag's return. Fact number 6. Kvatch was meant to be fully rebuilt. Early design documents suggested that after closing the Kvatch Oblivion Gate, players would have the option to help rebuild the city. Sadly, time constraints during Oblivion's production forced this mechanic to be cut. Kvatch remains a ruined, empty husk even after the player's heroism, symbolizing how even great victories often come too late for those who needed them most. Fact number 7. Nirnroot was almost a minor ingredient before becoming a quest item. The glowing plant Nirnroot was initially designed to be a minor alchemy ingredient, providing only slight buffs. But developers found it so visually distinct that they turned it into a full-blown quest item, leading to the fan-favorite Seeking Your Roots side quest. Its eerie glow and faint hum hinted deeper, ancient forces running through the soil of Nirn itself. Fact number 8. The Oblivion Crisis wasn't just a Tamriel event. While players only experienced the Oblivion Crisis in Cyrodiil, lore entries reveal that Oblivion gates opened worldwide. Black Marsh's Argonians fared shockingly well. They were so vicious against Daedra invaders that even Dagon's armies eventually closed the gates to avoid annihilation. Some scholars argue that the Argonians' rapid evolution during this time directly set the stage for the rise of the Annex Ayleid in later games. Fact number 9. The Daedric realms exist in constant shifting chaos. The 16 Daedric Princes each rule their own planes of oblivion. However, those realms aren't static. The landscapes, time flow, and even laws of physics within Oblivion can shift based on the whims of their rulers. Azura's Twilight Realm is a serene dusk eternal. Moligbar's Cold Harbor is a dark mockery of Nirn itself. Entering a Daedric realm means surrendering to forces that don't obey mortal logic or mortal mercy. Fact number 10. Patrick Stewart recorded his lines for Uriel Septims VII in 2 days. Patrick Stewart, who voices Emperor Uriel Septims VII, recorded all of his dialogue for Oblivion in just 2 recording sessions. Despite his brief appearance in the game's opening, his performance lends gravitas and emotional weight to the story that resonates across the entire main quest. His line delivery set the tone for the stakes and tragedy of the Oblivion Crisis. Fact number 11. Oblivion's random events were a first for the series. Before Oblivion, encounters in Elder Scrolls games were largely static. You met enemies and events only at predetermined locations. Oblivion introduced dynamic random encounters like wandering bandits, highwaymen demanding tolls, and traveling merchants who could actually be attacked by Daedra. This innovation laid the groundwork for Skyrim's even more advanced Radiant World systems. Fact number 12. The Mages Guild hides its own internal civil war. Beneath the surface of the Mages Guild's polite academic front lies a growing ideological rift. Archmage Travan's ban on necromancy outraged many members who saw the study of death as vital to magical mastery. This tension eventually culminates in the Mages Guild questline and hints at why the guild in Skyrim is a broken shadow of its former self. Fact number 13. Meronez Dagon's form is a reflection of Mythic Dawn beliefs. Meronez Dagon appears as a titanic, four-armed giant, but that form isn't truly Dagon's natural state. In Elder Scrolls lore, Daedric Princes manifest based on the expectations and beliefs of their worshippers. The Mythic Dawn envisioned Dagon as a god of raw destruction, and so he took that form when tearing through the White Gold Tower. Fact number 14. Oblivion's horses were originally supposed to level with players. Early builds had plans for a system where horses would gain levels alongside players, improving their speed and endurance over time. Ultimately, the feature was scrapped for simplicity, leading to the static horse stats we know today. Some remnants of this system can still be found in debug files. Fact number 15. The Elder Council holds enough power to challenge emperors. In Tamriel's political system, the Elder Council isn't just ceremonial. Technically, it has the authority to overrule imperial decrees, control succession, and even elect new rulers. During the Oblivion Crisis, the Council's paralysis and backroom deals almost doom Cyrodiil to collapse completely before the hero intervenes. Fact number 16. There are hidden references to Pelinal Witstreak. In subtle books and ancient ruins, players can find references to Pelinal Witstreak,
a half-divine, half-insane warrior who helped free humanity from Ayleid's slavery. Some scholars believe Pelinal was an avatar of a god, or possibly a literal time traveler sent by the divines to reset history.
His blood-soaked legacy haunts Cyrodiil's foundations. Fact number 17. Oblivion gates can be closed in any order. Unlike many RPGs of the time, Oblivion gives players true non-linear control over the Oblivion gates. Aside from key story-critical gates like Kivach, you can choose to tackle the gates in whatever order, or even ignore them for a time, changing how towns and regions suffer or endure the Daedric invasion. Fact number 18. Sean Bean voiced Martin Septim, and his character lives.
Actor Sean Bean, famous for roles in Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, voices Martin Septim. Ironically, in contrast to Bean's usual reputation for playing characters who die early, Martin's sacrifice doesn't result in simple death.
His soul merges with Akatosh, becoming an eternal guardian against Oblivion's return. A victory through transcendence. Fact number 19. Some Oblivion planes are based on real-world mythology. The fiery skies, spiked landscapes, and tortured aesthetic of Marinus Dagon's Deadlands are heavily inspired by Renaissance depictions of hell, particularly paintings by artists like Hieronymus Bosch. Developers wanted players to feel not just fear, but cosmic wrongness when stepping through the Oblivion gates.
Fact number 20. The Shivering Isles was built almost like a separate game. The Shivering Isles expansion was so large, Bethesda essentially built it as a miniature second game inside Oblivion's engine. It features its own weather systems, quest trees, faction dynamics, and reality-altering environmental changes based on player choices. Shivering Isles is still considered one of the best RPG expansions ever made.
Fact number 21. The Oblivion Crisis directly leads to the events of Skyrim.
Players who explore deep into Skyrim's lore will realize that the chaos unleashed during the Oblivion Crisis led to the weakening of Imperial control across Tamriel. Provinces like Skyrim and Morrowind grow increasingly rebellious.
By the time of Skyrim, the Empire is a shadow of its former self, fragmented, desperate, and vulnerable to the Aldmeri Dominion's rise.
Fact number 22. No two Daedric Princes view mortals the same way.
In Oblivion, you interact with many Daedric Princes, but their relationships to mortals vary dramatically. Azura sees mortals as fleeting, beautiful creations. Miranez Dagon views them as raw material to be destroyed. Sheogorev sees mortals as playthings in an endless game of chaos. Every Daedric quest subtly reflects these cosmic attitudes toward human existence. Fact number 23. Oblivion's fast travel was controversial internally.
Bethesda developers debated heavily over whether to include instant fast travel to discovered locations. Some designers felt it broke immersion and exploration. Others argued it was essential for player freedom. In the end, fast travel remained, though players willing to avoid it can still experience Cyrodiil's roads, inns, and dangers as originally intended.
Fact number 24.
Skingrad's Count, Janus Hassildor, is a vampire and a savior.
Count Hassildor rules Skingrad with a cold, calculating hand. What most players eventually learn is that he's a vampire lord, but unlike most of his kind, he resists the urge to prey on his people.
His tragic, isolated existence reflects one of Oblivion's recurring themes: how power corrupts or isolates even those with the best intentions.
Fact number 25. Black soul gems are the key to the darkest magic. In Oblivion, you can use black soul gems to trap the souls of sentient beings. Essentially, murder made into a magical tool.
Black soul gems are required for necromancy, and their use is banned by the Mage's Guild. In law, possession of a black soul gem without authorization is punishable by death in most provinces.
Fact number 26. Martin September was trained as a priest, not a warrior.
Before becoming a leader during the Oblivion crisis, Martin Septim lived as a priest of Akatosh, deliberately hiding from the burden of his bloodline. His transition from reluctant scholar to savior of the Empire mirrors classical mythological hero arcs and adds a rare note of humility to the often violent world of Tamriel. Fact number 27. Oblivion's map size was handcrafted without procedural generation. Unlike many later open-world games, Oblivion's massive map, over 16 square miles of playable land, was handcrafted, not procedurally generated. Every ruin, village, and forest glade was placed manually, giving the world a curated, lived-in feel that few RPGs can match even today. Fact number 28. The Plane of Oblivion isn't just fire and brimstone. While players mostly see the deadlands of Mehran's Dagon, each Daedric prince controls a wildly different realm. Azura's realm is a place of eternal twilight. Her signs is a vast hunting ground. Hermaeus Mora's domain is a sea of writhing tentacles and infinite libraries. The multiverse of Oblivion is as varied as mortal imagination itself. Fact number 29. The Nirnroot's glow has lore roots in Lorkhan's betrayal. In some hidden texts, it's suggested that Nirnroot's unnatural glow and properties trace back to the divine betrayal of Lorkhan, the trickster god who convinced the Aedra to create the mortal world. Nirnroot could be absorbing the weakened echoes of Aetherius, leaking through Nirn's flawed mortal fabric. Fact number 30. The Mythic Dawn commentaries are an in-game cipher. Players who collect all volumes of Mankar Cameron's Mythic Dawn commentaries can actually find a hidden coded message. Using capital letters in the text reveals a riddle that leads to the secret Mythic Dawn shrine. This real-world cryptographic hunt was inspired by Da Vinci Code-style puzzles, blending in-game mythology with almost ARG-like sense of discovery. Fact number 31. The arena champion never speaks, but he has a backstory. The blue team champion, whom you must defeat to claim the arena title, never speaks a word. But if you dig through cut dialogue and developer notes, he's described as a silent weapon, a man who speaks only through violence, having trained since childhood to fight in the arena. His silence is a design choice, meant to make him feel more intimidating and eerily tragic. Fact number 32. The Argonian guerrilla defense during the Oblivion crisis was so brutal, Dagon pulled out. During the crisis, the Daedra opened gates in Black Marsh and expected an easy conquest. Instead, the Argonians, adapted to hostile environments and supported by the Hist trees, fought back so viciously that Mehran's Dagon's forces withdrew entirely. It's one of the only regions where mortals outright pushed Oblivion back without outside help. Fact number 33. Many voice actors in Oblivion played dozens of roles. Bethesda famously used a small cast of actors to voice the game's hundreds of characters. For example, Wes Johnson voiced Lucienne, Lachance, Hermaeus Mora, Sheol-Gorath, Pre-Shivering Isles, and the Guards. This sometimes led to surreal moments, like a beggar and a noble sharing the exact same voice. It became both a meme and a weirdly endearing part of the game's charm. Fact number 34. The unicorn you can find in Oblivion is a Daedric test. Near Harcane Grove, players can find a lone unicorn. It's tied to Hexine, the Daedric Prince of the Hunt. Killing it grants access to Hexine's Daedric artifact. The catch?
The unicorn behaves like a horse and can be ridden. But if you want Hixine's reward, you have to slay this pure, unique creature. It's a subtle morality test, buried inside a seemingly optional quest.
Fact number 35. The Dark Brotherhood was once the Morag Tong. The Dark Brotherhood, assassins cloaked in shadow and whispers, are a splinter of the ancient Morag Tong, a sanctioned assassination guild from Morrowind. The Brotherhood broke away after being exiled for abandoning the old ways.
They still serve Sithis, but with no legal protections, making them both more feared and more hunted. Fact number 36. Lucien Lachance wasn't supposed to be so popular.
Lucien Lachance, the silky-voiced speaker who recruits you into the Dark Brotherhood, became a fan favorite almost instantly. Bethesda hadn't expected how iconic his voice and presence would become.
His tragic betrayal arc, being framed and killed by his own Brotherhood, hit players hard and helped elevate the entire Dark Brotherhood questline into legendary status.
Fact number 37. The champion of Cyrodiil becomes Sheogorath.
If you complete the Shivering Isles expansion, your character is not just a hero. They become Sheogorath, the Daedric Prince of Madness. That's why, in Skyrim, when you meet Sheogorath during the Mind of Madness quest, he hints at remembering events from Oblivion. In lore, it's strongly implied. That's you.
Fact number 38. The Thieves Guild uses the Grey Fox as a mask, literally and symbolically.
The Grey Fox isn't just a name. It's a magical cowl that erases the wearer's identity from the world. Whoever wears it becomes the Grey Fox. Their former name is forgotten by everyone, even close friends and family.
This isn't just clever lore. It explains how the Thieves Guild remains secretive for centuries. They hide behind a legend that erases itself.
Fact number 39. The Fighters Guild is being undermined from within. While the Fighters Guild appears straightforward, their main questline reveals a slow, creeping corruption. The rival Blackwood Company, which uses hist sap to enhance its warriors, is part of a dangerous experiment. Oblivion's writers used this arc to explore how even honorable institutions can be dismantled by moral compromise and addiction to power. Fact number 40. Oblivion's sky changes based on lore, not just time of day. In areas near open Oblivion gates, the sky gradually shifts in color, becoming more saturated with reds and blacks. This visual change isn't just for drama. It reflects the weakening veil between Mundus and Oblivion. In lore, it's said that as the gates remain open, the influence of Dagon's realm bleeds outward, twisting nature itself.
Fact number 41. The Elder Scrolls are so powerful, reading one can erase you from time.
While not directly usable in Oblivion, Elder Scrolls themselves are sacred artifacts hidden deep in the Imperial Library. In-universe, reading a scroll grants divine insight, but at a cost. Prolonged exposure causes blindness or madness. Some lore suggests that misinterpreting a scroll can lead to dragon breaks, moments where time fractures. Multiple realities happen at once, and causality becomes meaningless. The scrolls don't tell the future. They are the future, past, and present all at once.
Fact number 42. The Daedric artifact Volendrung has traveled more than some gods. The Warhammer Volendrung appears in Oblivion through a Daedric quest, but its history goes back to the Merific era. Originally forged by the Ruorcan clan of Dwemer, it was hurled across Tamriel in protest of a migration order, landing in what would become Hammerfell. Over time, Volendrung became associated with Malakath, the Prince of Outcasts, even though its origin was purely mortal. It's one of the few Daedric artifacts not made by a Daedra, but adopted into their mythos.
Fact number 43. Dremora aren't mindless Daedra. They have a rigid military hierarchy. The Dremora who serve Mehron as Dagon aren't just monsters.
They're an intelligent, militarized race with ranks, commands, and honor codes. In Oblivion, you'll notice they refer to each other by titles like Caitiff, Kynreeve, and Markiners, terms from the Kyn, a caste-based system. They serve Dagon out of loyalty and ideology, not enslavement. Some scholars believe they view themselves as superior to mortals, but not inherently evil, just loyal to a god of destruction.
Fact number 44. The imperial city was built on the ruins of an Ayleid capital. The towering, pristine white gold tower is the heart of the imperial city. But dig beneath the marble streets, and you'll find the remnants of Menelata, an ancient Ayleid city that once ruled the Heartlands. After Alessia's rebellion, the Ayleids were slaughtered or driven out, and their capital was claimed by the new empire. The tower itself predates human civilization, and some believe it still hums with ancient magicka meant to manipulate the stars. Fact number 40 for fact number 40. You can join the Dark Brotherhood. 7C Pollen Bleed. Oblivion's approach to role-playing freedom reaches a peak with the Dark Brotherhood recruitment system. You don't start their questline by finding a faction. You start it by committing murder. Kill any innocent NPC, go to sleep, and Lucien Machance will find you. The game never tells you this directly. It's a subtle, player-driven discovery that makes the Brotherhood feel like a secret society watching from the shadows. Fact number 46. Mayorunis Dagon's invasion was possible only because the Empire broke its covenant. The Dragonfires that protect Nian from Daedric invasion are fueled by Akatosh's pact with Alessia, a divine agreement tied to the Amulet of Kings and the Septim bloodline. When Martin is the last of his line, and the amulet is shattered, the covenant ends. What most don't realize is that the Empire's stability wasn't just political. It was cosmological. Its fall opened the door to Oblivion, literally. Fact number 47. You can find Ayleid wells that still channel ancient magic. Scattered across Cyrodiil are glowing blue Ayleid wells, magical structures left behind by the elves who once ruled the land. Using them grants a temporary buff, but lore suggests these wells were once part of a planetary energy grid, designed to harness magicka from the stars. Some scholars speculate that they were nodes in a now-forgotten system for altering weather, empowering armies, or maintaining eternal starlight over Ayleid cities. Fact number 48. Oblivion was nearly a multiplayer game.
During early concept phases, Bethesda briefly explored the idea of adding co-op multiplayer elements to Oblivion.
While this never advanced past internal discussion, remnants of the idea can be seen in the companion system, where you can travel with allies like Mages Guild recruits or Fighters Guild members. It wasn't until Elder Scrolls Online that the dream of multiplayer in Tamriel finally became a reality. Fact number 49. Jiggalag, the Daedric Prince of Order, was cursed into madness. The final boss of the Shivering Isles, Jiggalag, is the Daedric Prince of Order. He was so powerful and logical that the other princes grew jealous and cursed him to become Sheogorath, the Mad God. Every few centuries, Jiggalag breaks free, destroys his own realm in a flood of cold logic, and is banished again into chaos. When you defeat him, the curse is broken, and the player becomes the new Sheogorath, maintaining the balance between madness and control. Fact number 50. Oblivion's Fame Infamy system was a precursor to reputation mechanics. Oblivion introduced a unique system where you could earn fame by completing noble quests and infamy by committing crimes or worshipping Daedra. Both affected how NPINPs viewed you, and whether you could access certain factions or blessings. It's a spiritual precursor to more advanced reputation mechanics in later games like Fallout, New Vegas, and even Skyrim's Civil War dialogue. Fact number 51. Fact number 51. The Ayleid statues found in ruins
were once offerings to dead kings. Scattered across Ayleid ruins in Oblivion are ornate, glowing statues of elven kings and ancestors. These weren't just decorations. They were spiritual vessels, believed to store the memories and favor of fallen royalty. Ayleid nobles would leave offerings near these statues before battle, hoping to channel ancient wisdom. Today, those same statues are looted by adventurers and sold to museums. A poetic reminder of how even sacred history becomes currency over time. Fact number 52. The blades are the last link to the Dragonborn legacy. In Oblivion, the blades act as personal guards to the Emperor, but their true identity runs deeper. They are the descendants of Akaviri dragon hunters, sworn to protect the Dragonborn line. Their role becomes critical during the Oblivion crisis, and after Martin's sacrifice, they lose their purpose. In Skyrim, the remnants are broken and scattered, still holding on to an oath made thousands of years ago. Fact number 53. The hidden valley of Pale Pass holds Akaviri secrets. Tucked away in the Jural Mountains is Pale Pass, the final resting place of an Akaviri invasion force that crossed into Cyrodiil centuries ago. Their bones remain frozen in time, along with cryptic messages and remnants of a culture that once threatened the entire empire. Completing the Lifting the Veil quest lets players step into a moment of history most people in Tamriel have forgotten, even as its consequences linger. Fact number 54. Miruna's Dagon's defeat changed the nature of Mundus. When Martin's Septum merges with Akatosh to defeat Dagon, it's not just the end of a crisis, it's a cosmic rewriting of Nien's rules. The Amulet of Kings is destroyed, the Dragonfires no longer burn. The veil between realms is now stabilized by divine fusion, not ritual. Some Elder Scrolls scholars suggest that after this event, mortals are forevermore disconnected from Oblivion, but also from the divines themselves. Fact number 55. Blackwood holds the ghosts of failed empires. The swampy region of Blackwood, bordering Argonia, is filled with abandoned forts, drowned villages, and collapsed roads. This land was once part of multiple failed conquests: Ayleid, Imperial, even Khajiit. Its current state reflects the cycles of history in Tamriel. Empires rise, fall, and are slowly reclaimed by mud and vine. Walk through it, and you're walking through layers of forgotten ambition. Fact number 56. The hero of Kvatch is never officially named. Throughout all official Elder Scrolls material, your character in Oblivion, even after saving Cyrodiil, becoming Sheogorath, and closing the gates of Oblivion, is simply called the hero of Kvatch. The moment that city is saved becomes the symbolic start of your legend. It's one of the last moments in Elder Scrolls history where a hero's deeds matter more than their name. Fact number 57. Some NPAs in Oblivion remember you forever, even after major quests. Many side characters will continue to reference your past deeds indefinitely. If you steal from a shop, the owner might still greet you suspiciously hundreds of hours later. Likewise, if you become guildmaster or arena champion, others will refer to your status casually in conversation. This persistence helps make Cyrodiil feel alive and responsive, long before radiant dialogue became the norm. Fact number 58. Molag Baal's influence is everywhere, even when unseen. You meet Molag Baal in a Daedric quest, but his true horror exists off-screen. In Oblivion, his cults operate quietly, conducting soul manipulation and torture in hidden corners of Cyrodiil. Even the rise of the Blackwood Company and their hist sap addiction may be tied to experiments rooted in Baal's teachings. He is the Prince of Domination, and domination doesn't always look like a battlefield. Sometimes it looks like politics, drugs, and desperation. Fact number 59. You can discover pre-imperial religious shrines. Before the 9 divines,
Different gods were worshipped openly across Tamriel. In remote parts of Cyrodiil, especially in the west, you can find crumbling shrines to forgotten deities, like Ebenarm, the god of war. These locations have no quests, no prompts, just ruins that whisper of a time before Akatosh and the Empire unified faith and wiped older beliefs into myth. Fact number 60. The end of Oblivion is the beginning of myth. When Martin Septim sacrifices himself to become the avatar of Akatosh, he doesn't just end a war, he ends a dynasty, collapses a covenant, and transitions Tamriel into an age of uncertainty. The hero of Koch becomes a god. The world moves on without a dragonborn emperor. And in that moment, the game hands the story back to the player. You started as a prisoner. You became a myth. And no one will ever tell that story the same way again. Even after all the battles, the quests, the guilds, and the gates, Oblivion still holds secrets. In the silent glades of the Great Forest, in the ruined watchtowers of Blackwood, in the hollowed-out Ayleid halls where no footsteps echo anymore. There are scrolls left unread, statues unexamined, names unspoken. Tamriel is not just a land of war. It's a land of memory. And even when the gates of Oblivion are shut, their shadows still stretch across the land. Maybe that's why we come back. Not for the combat, not for the loot, but to remember, to feel wonder again, to hear the whispers of a world that was always more than pixels. This is why Oblivion endures, not because of what we did, but because of how it made us feel. And that brings our journey through 60 forgotten facts of Oblivion to a close. Whether you listened all the way through, drifted off along the roads of Cyrodiil, or joined us for just a few moments of quiet nostalgia, I'm glad you were here. These stories, secrets, and legends remind us why the Elder Scrolls is more than just a game. It's a world we carry with us, one we return to, not for the combat or the quests, but for the feeling it gave us. If you enjoyed this video, a like or a comment goes a long way to help others find it. And if you'd like to explore more lore, secrets, or calm deep dives like this one, consider subscribing. Tell me, what part of Oblivion stuck with you the most? Was it the gates? The guilds? The gods? I'd love to hear your favorite memories down below. Until next time, may your path be straight, your blade stay sharp, and your curiosity never fade. Thank you, Hero of Klavich, and may the divines watch over your next adventure.